Good afternoon, and please be seated. Welcome to the Mayor Making an annual meeting of Council. I'm Councillor Imtiaz Sheikh, the Mayor of Swindon. On behalf of the Council, I would like to welcome the Deputy Lieutenant, the High Sheriff of Wiltshire, and other distinguished guests to the meeting. On to housekeeping issues. If we hear the evacuation alarm this afternoon, we must leave the building immediately. Please follow the officers and leave via the nearest exit in reception and assemble in the car park between Wat Tyler West and Clarence House. We will adjourn the meeting until such time as it is safe to proceed. The Wi-Fi password for those who wish to use it is DreamShineLevel, all lowercase and all one word. Please can you remember to switch on your microphone when invited to speak and to switch it off when finished. Can I also ask you to make sure you have switched any devices you have to silent. Please note that the meeting is being recorded and live streamed via YouTube. I'd like to thank any members of the public who have joined us in the chamber or who may be watching at home. I'm sure members will join me in making sure that we provide the best window on local democracy. We will begin with the agenda item 1, which is to elect a qualified person to be mayor of the borough for the ensuing municipal year. Can I have nominations for the elections of mayor for the municipal year 2025-2026, please? Leader.
Can I nominate Councillor Faye Howard, please?
Thank you. Councillor Robbins, please can you speak in support of your nomination for Councillor Howard? You have up to 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. It's a real honour to be able to nominate my ward colleague, Councillor Faye Howard, to be the next Mayor of Swindon. We've been really lucky over the last few years that we've had people really breaking the mould. We've had the first Mayor of Bangladeshi heritage. We've had the first husband and wife mayoral team. We've had the first Mayor of a Goan heritage. And now, most importantly, we've got the first Mannington and Weston councillor to be Mayor. I'm delighted to see it. I know that Faye is going to be an outstanding Mayor because she's an outstanding councillor. She works incredibly hard, she's incredibly responsive, and she really cares about people. She's worked as a nurse. She really exemplifies the best of public service. She's been a councillor for many years, and she's always tried to do those jobs to the very best of her ability. She is a real community champion. Everything that she does is about trying to support people and make their lives better. It's really impressive to see, and I know that it's going to be a great year as she goes out representing the town and attending so many events on behalf of us all. I'm really excited by the charities that she's chosen to pick. I'm not going to speak about them because that's her right to announce who they are, but they're charities that I think are really important and ones that I'm really pleased to see being recognised. The other great thing about Faye that I just wanted to mention is that her generosity of spirit really extends beyond our borders. She's opened her home up to people coming over from Ukraine, which is really important. And she always is doing things like that alongside her husband. So really pleased that she is going to be our mayor. I'm absolutely delighted that someone who has the values that she holds dear, fairness, service and unity, is going to be the Mayor of Swindon for the year. I hope it's going to be an absolutely brilliant year. And can I just say, those T-shirts that her grandchildren are wearing are absolutely outstanding. So great to see those today. And really looking forward to you all supporting Faye to be a great mayor for the town. Thank you.
Councillor Small.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As also a fellow Mannington and Weston councillor, it gives me great pleasure to second the nomination of Faye Howard for the Mayor for the forthcoming municipal year. Faye, as the leader said, is a long-standing councillor. She'd represented the Parks Ward for a number of years and then decided to retire. And when I think all of us were really sad when she sort of decided time was up and she wanted to look at other directions. Fortunately, she got bored and came back. And Mallington and Weston have benefited ever since. The leaders also mentioned the social care elements and her work for the NHS as a nurse. And you look at the roles that she has taken on board within the Borough Council. They are all the issues which are of a social care element. And that really does reflect the Faye Howard I know. I said I've been lucky to know her for a long time. And for some of us, we remember she was my deputy leader when I was leader of the Labour group back in the dark ages. That's how far Faye goes back as well. She will be unique. She has a unique perspective on life, which is warm and comforting. And you will see that in her mayoral year. And I'm sure the people of Swindon will warm to the mayor that they're going to have over this year. Again, slightly different from other mayors, but again, will be good for the people of Swindon as our first citizen. And I just a warning to the Conservative group that if they think that her soft persona is a pushover, she's chaired the Labour group for a number of years, so she's used to difficult meetings. So don't think you've got an easy ride coming in the next municipal year. It's a great pleasure, therefore, to support her, and I hope she has a wonderful year. Thank you.
Councillor Summoner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm delighted to support Councillor Howard as the nomination for Mayor in the coming municipal year. I've known Councillor Howard for a very long time. My wife has as well, and her husband, and I know how community-minded they are. Your husband will be a great support, I'm sure, and I really wish you a fantastic mayoral year. Thank you.
Do any other members wish to speak in support of the nomination for Councillor Howard? Councillor Gattupu.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As a ward member or a representative of our Mannington Western Ward, I would like to welcome Faye Ward as a mayor of Swindon. So really, she is very passionate about the community. So the work what she and Ian does in the ward is extremely very good. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations for the election of mayor for the municipal year 2025-2026, please? I put it to vote that Councillor Faye Howard be elected as Mayor of the Borough of Swindon for the ensuing municipal year. All those in favour, please show. I declare the vote carried. A bit more officially, the vote has been carried. I therefore declare Councillor Faye Howard duly elected as Mayor of the Borough of Swindon for the ensuing municipal year. Congratulations.
Madam Mayor, will you please read your declaration of the acceptance of office?
I, Faye Howard, having been elected to the office of Mayor for the Borough of Swindon, hereby declare that I will take office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Swindon Borough Council in the performance in my functions in that office.
Thank you. Could you sign? I will sign. Two.
Congratulations, Madam Mayor, on your appointment. It is with great pleasure that I extend my warmest congratulations to you on your new role as Mayor of Swindon. Having already seen your dedication and passion for our community, I'm confident that Swindon is in excellent hands. As I step down, I reflect on the progress we've made and the challenges that lie ahead. Your leadership and vision will surely continue the positive momentum started. I have every faith in your ability to bring fresh ideas and renewed spirit to our town. Thank you for your commitment to serving our citizens as Deputy Mayor. I'm excited to see Swindon flourish under your guidance now as Mayor of Swindon, and I pledge my support as you embark on this important journey. Congratulations once again, and best wishes for your successful tenure.
Thank you very much. So, my story. As an army child, I moved around a lot, and I never really had a hometown until Ian and I made our hometown, Swindon. I moved here in 1988 when I married Ian, and I started nurse training at PMH. After qualifying, I worked on surgical wards and then moved to GWH and then later the Brunel Treatment Centre. Today, I work in public health as a health visitor. I led Swindon Church's campaign for Jubilee 2000, which was calling to drop the debt for the world's poorest countries for the Jubilee, and I was also supporting Ian running the filling station, feeding Swindon's homeless. This saw us working alongside others who were involved in politics, and I was encouraged to stand as a councillor. My Christian faith and politics have always been inseparable. This year, I hope the churches will see Swindon, and I hope Swindon will see the churches. Faith groups, volunteers and community organisations, they hold up our town where council resources just can't reach. From clubs to warm welcome spaces and volunteers like our own SBC Livewell team, they make Swindon fairer and better for everyone. I've now served 20 years serving Park North and Park South, Leiden, Eldene and currently Mannington and Western Ward. I'm very thankful for where I was born, and I'm aware that not everyone is so blessed. When we see a need, if we can, we should meet it. Service is not always comfortable, just ask anyone involved in politics here. However, it is undoubtedly the right thing to do. I aspire to a Swindon that is fairer and better for all, where we focus on what unites us more than what divides us. I love Swindon. Our 3 children have thrived here, and so are our 4 grandsons. We love the parks, the theatres, STFC, the Wildcats, the Magic Roundabout, beer festivals, the people and the many paths crisscrossing our town. I'm proud of Swindon's heritage, not just the buildings like Milton Road Bars, Christchurch, the Railway Village and these very council offices, but also the culture we share. We are welcoming, we are friendly and we are kind. Swindon's rich diversity and heritage are our real strengths. Together, we are building a town that is greener, fairer, and better for all. This past year as Deputy Mayor has been wonderful, a taste of what's to come. I love the monthly citizenship ceremonies. They are full of joy, and I urge you all to come along one month if you can. You won't regret it. My 2 charities this year are close to my heart. Wiltshire Tree House, based in Wesley, where I live. Wiltshire Tree House supports bereaved children. It's heartbreaking to think of children and young people losing somebody close, but Wiltshire Tree House not only supports those children, but also trains families and professionals to help with the support that they give the children. As a health visitor, a mother, a neighbour, a volunteer and a nana, I fully support this vital work. None of us know when we might need it. My second charity is the Harbour Project, celebrating 25 years supporting refugees in Swindon. Ian and I have hosted 14 refugees over 8 years, alongside some ice hockey players, a figure skater, and UK teenagers. Harbour's vision is to be a family for every asylum seeker or refugee, and that's mine too. Our family has grown richer with each guest we've had. We have lived along with some waiting 7+ years for leave to remain, and shed tears with another the night before he was deported at Heathrow. And then when the war in Ukraine started, I thought of my children and grandchildren, who you can hear. It was a no-brainer, and now we're enriched by our growing Ukrainian family. And we've also offered to support families from Gaza and Afghanistan. I hope this year Swindon will move further in becoming a borough of sanctuary. Thank you to the representatives of Wiltshire Tree House and the Harbour Project here today. Thank you too to the High Sheriff Martin and Deputy Lieutenant Clare and representatives from the Fire, Police Service and the Bishop of Swindon. Now I'm nominating my minister from Patton Church, Joel Sales, to be the Mayor's chaplain. He's already been involved leading the VED service last week. He did a fantastic job, and he at the team in Patton will be as strong to support myself and Swindon, I know. And thank you all to the councillors. Yes, I know you have to be here. And we really are stronger through diversity, though if we could have a little less of that when I'm chairing, that would be great. I know that's wishful thinking, is an election year. Thank you to the retiring Mayor and Mayoress Imtiaz and Adorable for your support this year. What a year you've had. So many engagements and opening up the council to so many. A tough act to follow. Thank you. And to the council officers for everything you do, to Brad and Nav, and all that you do supporting the Mayor's role, I look forward to spending time with you both. It's wonderful to have my family here, my lovely mother Mary, who's to blame for me being here. With 2 daughters in politics, she wanted one of us to be the Mayor, and since my sister didn't get the chance, here I am. One of my siblings is here, my other siblings are watching online, one from the States where she's fighting Trump. My 3 fantastic children and their partners are here, plus the joy of my 4 grandchildren, who hopefully you've mostly met. They're being very quiet at the moment. I have promised my grandsons that I will be more Mayor Goodway than Mayor Humdinger. And that is a Paw Patrol reference, so if you don't get it, think Dick Dastardly and you won't be far off. And finally, Ian, my rock, the other half of me. Together we are complete. We have been married for nearly 37 years and we get each other, and we have equal passion and love for Swindon. His more often expressed more loudly at the county ground. This year as Mayor, I am committed to serving you all with my heart and listening with care and acting with purpose. Swindon's strength is its people, in our kindness and our resilience. Let's embrace that strength and build a town that we're all proud to call home. Now, Council, I would like you all in a minute, by a show of hands, to express our thanks to the outgoing Mayor for his service and work during his mayoral year. Before this, I would like to invite the group leaders to add any comments. Councillor Small.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for giving me the opportunity as the proposer of the outgoing Mayor last year to support the vote of thanks that you just put forward. Well, what a year it's been for the outgoing Mayor, starting with his mayoral day and the night of a fantastic reception with entertainment, which we've never seen the likes of before, and what an evening it was and what an enjoyable event it was to start off his mayoral year. Over that mayoral year, the former Mayor now has done over 400 engagements while still holding down a full-time job. I asked, what were the highlights of his mayoral year, and I know going to the garden party to see the King was one of them, though he didn't get any food, but they queued too long to see the King, and when they turned around for the sandwiches, they'd all gone. So any advice to anyone that goes to represent the borough in future is that go for the sandwiches first and worry about the King later. I know there was also some other royal occasions. He had great honour of welcoming Her Majesty the Queen to Swindon, as well as the Princess Royal. And I know he's enjoyed the opportunity to meet various businesses that represent Swindon, the communities and the charities which make up this town and the vast variations of our borough. During the year, he raised over £19,000 for his charities, which I think is a great contribution, and she should be congratulated. And the novel idea of holding a raffle, which was first prize was the cruise for 2 weeks. I'm still waiting for my tickets, by the way, for that. It was a great idea, finishing off recently with the gala dinner. I know he had the pleasure of hosting our friends from Saltskitter this year, during his mayoral year, which is always a great pleasure for any mayor. We mustn't forget that part of the team of mayoral team is the deputy mayor's consort, the mayoress or the mayor's consort, and Dora Bell has done an excellent job supporting the mayor over this particular year, whilst also holding down a cabinet role, which cannot have been an easy job for her over that time. I know that she's looking forward to be taken out for a meal that actually he's going to pay for a change. But, Madam Mayor, the outgoing Mayor has had a fantastic year. He has been a credit to this council and a credit to the people of Swindon and a credit to the borough. His mayoral year will be remembered for a long time, and I have a great pleasure in supporting the vote of thanks for his work.
Anybody else like to come in? Oh, wait, Councillor Robin.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to say that Councillor Imtiaz Sheikh has served Swindon with distinction, warmth and an incredible set of sharp suits. Everywhere I go, he always looks absolutely spectacular, and it's great that he's finally going to have to give up the bling that makes him look even better. He's been brilliant. Behind his sharp tailoring lies a man of real compassion and warmth, and he's done a brilliant job of getting out there, representing the borough, speaking to people across the town. And as has been said, he's done over 400 events this year, which is unbelievable and shows the commitment that he's got to the role and how much he's enjoyed doing it. Again, I'd like to pay tribute to his work raising money for Best, Be a Better You, and Changing Suits. I think it's really important, the fundraising work that Imtiaz has done alongside Adora Bell, and it is really impressive to see the amounts of money that they've raised. I think the other thing that's been lovely is he's made Swindon a little bit of Goa. He's got his roots in Vasco, but his heart is definitely in Swindon, and he's done a brilliant job of bringing that diversity to the town and really representing us all in a very positive, very friendly and engaging way. I think his legacy is really stitched into the town alongside his suits, and really want to thank him and his family for their hard work doing such an outstanding job this year. Thank you very much.
Anybody else like to express? Councillor Sumner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The former mayor has done an absolutely incredible job. I've never seen a mayor who comes across as more proud of the role and the town and the people he's been meeting. I've been to numerous events with the mayor attending, and he has shown his love for the role and his empathy with people. He has a very easy personality. And he should be very proud of everything he's achieved in his mayoral year. It's been a fantastic one, so well done.
Does anybody else want to speak? No? Can I then have a show of hands in support of the thanks to the retiring mayor, please? All those in favour? Brilliant. Unanimous support. Thank you very much. So the vote is carried. Councillor Sheikh, on behalf of the Council, I would like to thank you for your work as Mayor during the last year. Would you like to make your outgoing speech?
Thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone. We gather here today. I'm filled with profound sense of gratitude and pride. Serving as your Mayor over the past year has been an extraordinary journey. One that has truly reopened my eyes to the wonderful communities and amazing people we have in Swindon. When I planned my mayoral year, and right from the outset, my vision was always very clear: to bring together the diverse communities of Swindon and create an ecosystem of inclusivity and collaboration. I feel fulfilled knowing that I've made a significant contribution in achieving this goal. Over the last year, I've attended over 400 engagements, meeting Swindon's residents, local businesses, and our wonderful communities. I have done this while working a full-time job in Bristol and being a mayor of Swindon. This would not have been possible without the amazing people who supported me: my wife, Adora Bell, my colleagues and my manager, Matt, and the mayor's office, my A-team. I've had the privilege to open our doors to all Swindon communities who have, in this process, connected with each other. Many made a visit to the civic offices and mayor's parlour for the first time in their lives as Swindon residents. I've also had the opportunity to meet our wonderful teams and staff right here in the council, thanking them for their dedication to make our Swindon town a brighter and better place to call home. Meeting our communities and residents has especially been eye-opening. I was able to create a platform to help foster dialogues around shared values and dreams, enabling us to appreciate our differences while celebrating what makes us unique. I thoroughly enjoyed visiting our schools and presenting awards to children and young people, walked with mental health champions, hosted citizenship ceremonies, celebrated our amazing Swindon charities and local groups, and had the honor of attending the Royal Garden Party in Buckingham Palace recently. Another highlight was to welcoming Her Majesty the Queen at Great Western Hospital and Her Royal Highness Princess Anne to Swindon also. Equally important for me has been my fundraising efforts. I would like to thank the Mayor's Office, Nav Hassan, Mark Stratford, and Brad Bully for their support in what has been a very busy year, clocking up many hundreds of thousands of steps over the last 12 months. I thought that was a chair. A genuine big thank you to all of Swindon who have supported my fundraising efforts through the raffle prize sales, donation to the Mayor's Just Giving page, and by attending the fundraising gala dinner that celebrated Swindon's diversity. Not forgetting everyone outside Swindon who has donated throughout the year, making this a grand success. I'm pleased to announce that I've raised just over £19,000, which was presented to Best and Changing Suits, so they may continue their goal in enriching our communities and young people. I must extend my heartfelt thanks to each and everyone who has helped make my mayoral year a success. Thank you for your support and unwavering belief in my vision to connect all our Swindon communities. Without the dedication and support of everyone who has contributed, this would not have been possible. I cannot forget my family for putting up with my non-existence over the year. While I'm humbled to have been able to do so much in my mayoral year, my biggest achievement will always be that of a husband and father. I'm grateful for the companionship, love, and fierce support from my wife, Adorabelle, as well as the unconditional patience and love that my children, Zohaib and Kashfia, have given me, which keeps me grounded. Thank you to my friends and all my extended family members who supported us through this journey. None of this would have been possible without their kindness and generosity. As we look to the future, I'm confident Swindon has a superb mayor in Councillor Faye Howard. I'm grateful to you for your support this year. It has been great working with you. Thank you, Swindon, for entrusting me with the privilege of serving as your mayor. It has been a very memorable year and an honor to serve and represent you. I look forward to the collective journey ahead of our beloved town. May the bonds we have forged with all Swindon communities carry on to be strengthened. Let us carry the spirit of unity into the coming years, embracing each other's differences and challenges, but never forgetting to support each other. Thank you. Now that I'll be going back, I get a couple of questions asked on several occasions. One is, do you love Swindon? And the answer is yes. Second, Ronaldo or Messi? I go with Ronaldo. And the third, what are you going to do with all this spare time? I said, my wife's got a big list ready for me after this. But genuinely, thank you to all for supporting me. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Swindon has definitely been richer for this last year. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is to elect the qualified person to be Deputy Mayor for the Borough of the ensuing municipal year. Please, can I have nominations for the election of Deputy Mayor of the municipal year 25-26, please? Councillor Watts?
I'd like to propose Councillor Hopkins, Madam Mayor.
Do we have a seconder?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I
Brilliant.
second.
Councillor Chris Watts, would you like to speak in support of your nomination of Councillor Hopkins?
Should we just move straight to the vote? Oh, that's right. It gives me great pleasure to nominate Councillor Hopkins as Deputy Mayor. I've had the honour of knowing and working with Neil for 11 years. And indeed, we've had a very similar journey to this point in the Chamber and the Borough. There are those of us that are here who've had long-standing ambitions to be councillors, and there's those of us that have found ourselves drawn in through lived experiences or reactions to contentious issues. But once you step on the treadmill, you find quite quickly that there's no off switch and it's difficult to get back off, and nor do you want to get off. For Neil, if it wasn't for the fact that in 2013 the council had included his front garden in an asset transfer of a leisure centre to private hands, a bold move from the council, I think you'll agree, that an understandably vexed Neil became animated, like a sleeper, waiting for a secret code word to trigger him into action. I remember the first time I saw Neil in the chamber, speaking in a forceful, booming voice that we've all come to know and love, and thinking that I wouldn't really like to get onto the wrong side of him, and therefore made it my mission to get on the right side. Neil is a friend and a colleague and a dedicated servant to the borough and the people of Swindon. He has shown this through his impressive work rate and dedication through committee chairs, chair of South Swindon Parish Council, and his participation with outside bodies, as well as being a dedicated ward councillor. This nomination is fitting, and I'm sure that Neil will be a truly excellent deputy mayor, supporting Madam Mayor through this municipal year. Thank you.
Councillor Elliott, would you like to add to that?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 2 years ago, Councillor Hopkins was elected to this council, and I found myself sharing a ward with him. Being a stranger to the concept of working with someone from another party, let alone sharing with them, was quite strange. So I held on to that old maxim, hold your friends close, but your enemies closer. So I reached out to him, and we went and had a coffee. Agreed some ground rules, looked into the whites of each other's eyes, you know the stuff. I think that we both sensed that we were here for the benefit of our residents, so that was a big bonus. We agreed to try it out for a month, working collaboratively on ward issues. Well, that month became 2, then 3, and here we are today, 2 years later. Some on both sides disapproved, but the real winners here have been the residents of our ward. Over the 2 years, I've got to know, working alongside Neil, Councillor Hopkins, and when I was asked if I would second him for Deputy Mayor, I said yes, unhesitatingly. Madam Mayor, I believe that the person seeking election to the role should have the following attributes. Be ready to fully support the Mayor during her year of office. Have a commitment to the community, to Swindon and all its people. Build public trust through having a strong moral compass and ethical behaviour. Understand the specific needs and priorities of Swindon and its people. Be good at building relationships and community engagement. Be an effective communicator. Be open, transparent and publicly accountable. I know from the last 2 years that Councillor Hopkins has all of those qualities in abundance, and I'm confident that he will make a superb and excellent Deputy Mayor for the forthcoming municipal year. One last thing, Madam Mayor. I also know that Councillor Hopkins bakes a very mean fruit loaf, which should ensure that no visitors to the mayoral party will go away hungry. Seriously though, I'm delighted to second Neil to be the part of Deputy Mayor, and I ask all members to support him. Thank you.
Spot on. Thank you very much. Councillor Robbins, would you like to add anything as the leader?
Thank you very much. Delighted that Councillor Hopkins is to hopefully become our Deputy Mayor in a few minutes. I think he will be excellent in the role. He brings a huge amount of experience and knowledge to the Chamber. And as a proud Welshman, he's got quite a good singing voice. He's in a male voice choir, and I'm sure that it will add some beautiful dulcet tones to any of our mayoral events over the year where singing is involved. Just really wish him all of the best in the role. I know that he'll be very good at it, and he'll be a very good ambassador for the town. So congratulations, Neil.
And Councillor Sumner, would you like to add?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm certainly delighted to support the nomination of Councillor Hopkins for the role of Deputy Mayor in the coming year. In the time that we've come to know each other on the Borough Council, I think the word collegiate has already been mentioned. He has a fantastic way of working in committees, and I think we both find ourselves violently agreeing with each other on many, many different subjects. He's a very intelligent man, a very thoughtful man, and he finds it easy to work with people, and I think he's going to have a fantastic year as a Deputy Mayor, and then looking forward to his year as Mayor in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would there anybody else like to speak in support of Councillor Hopkins? You'll get another opportunity next year as well. Okay, that's great. Are there any other nominations for the election of the Deputy Mayor for the municipal year 25 to 26? No, that's good then. So I put it to the vote then that Councillor Neil Hopkins be elected as Deputy Mayor for the Borough of Swindon for the ensuing municipal year. All those in favour, please show. Look at that, we're unanimous. Fantastic. The vote has been carried, and I therefore declare that Councillor Neil Hopkins is duly elected for the Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Swindon for the ensuing municipal year. I congratulate Councillor Hopkins on his appointment and look forward to working with him.
Sorry, I realised I needed to say something here. Madam Mayor, I thank the Council for the honour of this appointment, and I look forward to supporting the Mayor in carrying out her duties. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, last year's Mayor, the newly elected Deputy Mayor, and I will now retire from the Chamber so that his declaration of office can be signed. The meeting is there adjourned for 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting is now resumed, so please be seated. And I will now present Councillor Imtiaz Sheikh and the retiring Mayoress Councillor Adorabel Sheikh, with the former Mayor and Mayoress's badges of office. Moving on to the next agenda item, which are apologies for absence. Sorry, Chief Executive, could you please report any apologies for absence?
I certainly can. The following apologies have been received from Councillor Ian Edwards, Councillor Janine Howarth, Councillor VJ Manroe and Councillor Barbara Parry.
Are there any further apologies from the floor? Okay, thank you. I ask the clerk to note those apologies then, please. And moving on to the next agenda item, which is communications. Chief Executive, are there any correspondence received, please?
I'm sure members will be delighted to hear there are no communications to report today.
Excellent. So moving on to the next agenda item, which is minutes of the previous meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder to agree that the minutes of the meeting held on the 3rd of April 2025, which are on pages 5 to 12 of the agenda pack, be approved as a correct record?
Happy to move, Madam Mayor.
I'll second, please, Madam Mayor.
Brilliant. I put it that the minutes of the... Oh, any discussion on that? Any comments? No? Fantastic. I put it that the minutes of the meeting of the Council held on the 3rd day of April 2025 be approved as a true record. All those in favour, please show. Cracking. That's another unanimous vote. Brilliant. Thank you. I declare the vote carried. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is declarations of interest. Members should declare now any known interest in any matter to be considered, and also during the meeting if it becomes apparent that they have an interest in the matter being discussed. If you have a declaration, please remember to state whether the declaration is personal or prejudicial. If the declaration is prejudicial, could you please state the reason? Are there any such declarations today? Brilliant. If anything comes up, let us know. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is adoption of revisions to Swindon Borough Council's constitution for the municipal year 25 to 26. I would draw members' attention to the report set out on pages 13 to 504 of the agenda pack and the addendum set out on pages 3 to 12 of the supplementary pack published on 15th of May. Please can I have a proposer to move this?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move the recommendations, including the proposed amendments to facilitate the recommendation from Audit Committee to include an independent member in its membership, as set out in the addendum circulated to members and published to the Council's website in Supplementary Pack 1.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for this recommendation, please?
Can I second, please?
Are there any members that wish to speak on this matter? No? I put it to the vote then that recommendations 2.1 and 2.2 be agreed. All those in favour, please show. Cracking, excellent. So all those, so I declare the vote carried again. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is the calendar of meetings 25 to 26 this municipal year. I would draw your attention, members, to the report and the timetable set out on pages 505 to 508 of the agenda pack. May I have a mover and a seconder to propose the recommendations that's set out on page 505 of the agenda pack, please?
Happy to move, Madam Mayor.
Second, please, Madam Mayor.
Anybody like to speak on this matter? Okay, so I put it to the vote then that the recommendations 2.1 and 2.2 as set out on page 505 of the agenda pack be agreed. All those in favour, please show. Another unanimous vote. Fantastic. Thank you. I declare the vote carried. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is numbers to serve on council committees. I would draw members' attention to the report set out on pages 509 to 510 of the agenda pack and to Appendix 1, which can be found on page 13 of the supplementary pack. May I have a mover and a seconder to propose the recommendation, please?
Happy to propose, Madam Mayor.
Also happy to second, please.
Would anybody like to speak on this matter? No? I put it to the vote then that the recommendation 2.1, as set on page 509 of the agenda pack, be agreed. All those in favour, please show. Lovely. I declare the vote carried again. We can keep this going all year, that'd be great. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is allocation of seats to political bodies and appointments to committees, other bodies and outside bodies. I would draw your attention, members, to the report set out on pages 511 to 522 of the agenda pack. The tabled list of nominations we are considering is on pages 3 to 21 of the supplementary pack and also published on the Council's website. Could I have a mover and seconder to propose the recommendations that begin on page 511, please?
Happy to move, Madam Mayor, but can I also add a last-minute change, if that is okay, with Councillor Abdul Amin replacing Councillor Mike Davis on the Build a Better Swindon Committee?
Do I have a seconder for that?
I'll second again, please.
Everything else taken as record and that's noted? No other changes? No? Are there any members that would like to speak on this? Okay, can we have a show of hands that that's agreed then, please? Thank you. Councillor Nadine Watts, did you want to speak about a retiring member of Standards?
Yes, please, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move that the Council formally records its thanks to Mr Trevor Davis, who has stood down as a co-opted lay representative of the Standards Committee. He has been a valuable member of the committee since its creation, which is nearly 25 years ago. I'd like to express my sincere thanks to Mr Davis for his commitment and service over the years. Thank you.
Have we got somebody else want to speak on that as well?
Yeah, I'd like to second that. And just a few words as well. I was told at the beginning of the week that Mr Davies was standing down. And when I was told that he was standing down, we'd actually found out it'd been 25 years that he'd been in a role approximately, which would make me the grand old age of 14 when he first started, to just really emphasise how long he's been doing this. It just brings a continuity to the role that's often absent in politics. We come and go as the wind. These people, you know, they work hard and diligently for a very long time, often behind the scenes. And I just want to say a huge well done for all the good work he's done over the years, and good luck on his future endeavours.
Thank you very much. He was also the Director of Nursing who employed me back in the day as well. Anyway, can I have, for a show of hands, please, those that want to thank Mr Trevor Davies? The vote is carried, and I ask the clerk to ensure that this is formally recorded in the minutes, and I will write to Councillor Davis, to Mr Davis on behalf of the Council advising of this vote. Any other members wish to speak on the matter? No? Okay, I put it to the vote then that recommendations 2.1 to 2.9, as set out on pages 511 and 512 of the agenda pack, be agreed. All those in favour, please show. Yes. I declare the vote carried. I now declare the annual meeting closed. But I would also like to begin and welcome everyone to an extraordinary meeting of the Council, convened to consider the appointment of the former Councillor Brian Ford as an honorary alderman of the borough. On behalf of the Council, I would like to welcome Mrs Stella Ford and her guests to the meeting. Please can I remind you to switch on your microphone when invited to speak and switch it off when finished. I would also like to remind you that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube. We will begin with item 1, apologies for absence.
I have no further apologies for absence.
And nobody has left the meeting, though, so this is good. Any apologies from the floor? No, same as before. Any further communications?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Moving on to the next item, which is the declarations again. Declarations of interest. Members, again, I should please declare if you have any known interest in any matter to be considered, and also during the meeting if it becomes apparent, that if you have an interest of something that is being discussed. If you have a declaration, please remember to state whether it is personal or prejudicial. If the declaration is prejudicial, please state the reason. Are there any such declarations? No? Okay. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is public question time. Are there any members of the public who wish to ask a question? No. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, see, because we haven't got any public questions. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is conferring the title of Honorary Alderman of the Borough. I would draw members' attention to the report set out on the pack, pages 5 to 8. It gives me great pleasure to ask the Council to resolve to determine that Mr Brian Ford has rendered eminent services to the Council and therefore to confer the title of Honorary Alderman on him by virtue of Section 2491 of the Local Government Act 1972. Please can I have a mover and seconder?
I'd like to move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'd like to second, please, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Sumner, could you please speak in support of your nomination? You have up to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Brian Ford was a giant of the Conservative group and a man of real substance in the council. I'm sure that his ward colleagues will speak about the love and affection he had for his home in Wroughton, but I want to look back on the time that he spent as a councillor and a very senior and respected cabinet member. Brian really loved his role as a cabinet member for adults, and he had a fantastic relationship with his officers. He was very sad when Sue Wald stood down. His passion for adults really showed in the budget wrangling fought every year. But Brian was absolutely passionate. He would stand his ground, but he would very often be the one that would come back with some magic savings for us. He was always quick and often witty with advice to colleagues based on his incredible experience at the council. He regaled us with tales of when he was a solitary member of the Conservative group on the council and what a unique experience that was. And many of those tales I won't be repeating. He was respected and trusted by colleagues from all parties. Although it affected the whole of the council, Brian was at the forefront with his team in our COVID response, and he was a calm character in dealing with that unique event together with his officers. On a personal note, I consider Brian a friend. He was a great fun when out for a drink. He loved his wife, the golf course, and holidays in Spain. This honour to be collected by his wife Stella is a fitting tribute to a great man. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And Councillor Robbins, I invite you to speak.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Brian's passing last year left a deep void in the heart of Wroughton, but it's really important that as we commemorate his appointment as a posthumous Alderman of the Borough, we also celebrate a life lived with purpose, passion and an unwavering commitment to the people of Wroughton. Brian served this borough with distinction. From his early days on Thamesdown Borough, through his leadership roles as the Cabinet Member for Adults and Health, Chair of the Health and Wellbeing Board, and as Mayor, he was a constant, steady, principled, and he was deeply respected across the political spectrum. He was a Conservative by party, but a collaborator by nature. He worked well with Labour colleagues and with independent voices, and he always tried to put people first. His leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic showed his ability to bring people together in a time of crisis. And as has been said, beyond the council chamber, Brian was a man of warmth and wit. He did love golf, his holidays, and a good glass of red wine, and he was really good company. I think the other thing that I'd like to say is he really did love Wroughton. Though he wasn't born there, he made it his home and he made it his pride, and he certainly championed its development and spirit. He really belonged to the place. It's important that we remember a man who gave 4 decades of his life to public service, and hopefully his name, now etched in the roll of Alderman of the town, will inspire those who follow in his footsteps. Thank you.
Are there any other members that would like to speak? Yes, Councillor Courtliff.
Madam Mayor, congratulations on your appointment, for which I'm sure Brian would have been the first to shake your hand, as he was extremely proud of his own mayoral year. And thank you for also welcoming his family and friends as your guests today. Being made an honorary freeman or alderman of the borough is an exceptional privilege reserved for a select few who have provided years of exceptional service. Brian Ford was an exceptional man who provided exceptional service for 38 years as a councillor, mayor, cabinet member, and most importantly, representative of his home village and the best ward in Swindon, Wroughton, latterly including Wychelstow. I first got to know Brian properly when I joined the Conservative group. In what was a personally unsettling time, I immediately found Brian to be warm and welcoming, a role model to look up to, and an all-round perfect gentleman. When I really got to know Brian was when I was appointed to the Cabinet, where Brian was a long-standing and well-respected member, leading the portfolio of adults, health and social care, which he did with guile and expertise, working wonders to ensure each year was delivered in budget alongside his, as he would often remind Councillor Small, his officers. I also looked to Brian as a role model, being a wet behind the ears new Cabinet member, and he would be on hand to sometimes encourage me to speak up, but more often than not, tell me when to wind my neck in and listen. Brian certainly wasn't backwards in coming forwards. Whilst being a Cabinet member was important to Brian, his biggest point of pride was being the ward councillor for Wroughton, for which Brian was the staunchest of advocates. One only need to mention development and Wroughton in the same sentence, and Brian would be on his soapbox defending our village, no matter who the opponent, sometimes within our own group and within Cabinet. Brian's value to Wroughton was most apparent to last year when I was campaigning, and every resident I spoke to seemed to have a story of how Brian had helped them, and I had very big shoes to fill. And with the thousands of cases that he must have completed over his years of service, I cannot disagree with that sentiment one bit. I'm sure we'll all miss Brian and have our own stories, and this is a fitting tribute to everything that he achieved for his ward and his borough. And I will finish by sharing some words from Sir Robert Buckland, who worked with Brian as the MP in South Swindon and also is a Wroughton resident. He said he's delighted that this is being done. My sadness is that this is now posthumous, but Brian, I know, would be delighted and honoured by this wonderful gesture. He was a very proud Wroughton resident, but equally proud of the borough that he served for nearly 40 years. His work on adult social care in particular, and the focus on hospital discharges, with more joined up working with GWH and other NHS agencies, was a superb example of his practical approach. Members, thank you for, I hope I'm not being presumptuous, all supporting this motion, as I'm sure you'll all agree, Brian is a fitting recipient to be made an honorary alderman of this borough. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Small.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With Madam Mayor, with Councillor Courtney's comment, Brian, if you're listening, it's our officers. Madam Mayor, I've very been fortunate that as now time goes on, that I'm now the longest serving member of the council, ironically taken over for Brian, and I'm sure he'd be smiling at the thought. I first stood as a candidate for the Labour Party in Wroughton for 2 years on the trot, 1 year against Brian, and Brian constantly reminded me after I stood against him of something in one of my leaflets I put that I claimed credit for. He said he put done himself, and it was always a constant joke between the two of us. I was also fortunate that Brian got elected in 1986, same time as my dad got elected to Swindon Borough Council, and they were good friends and colleagues. Both at the time had been involved more with the Public Works and Sandwiches Committee than they were with anything else. And for those who don't know, it was Public Works and Sandwiches instead of Public Works and Services, because they always had sandwiches before the meeting to stop councillors then claiming their food allowance, because it was a cheaper option. But Wroughton was his passion, and then the Conservative Party, and it always was that way round, and that's something I will admire him for. And when Brian eventually became mayor, I know he was always grateful, because there was, some of you might not know, there was a large debate within the Labour group whether or not we should allow the Conservatives to have the mayoralship that year, or we should give it to the Liberal Democrats. The Liberal Democrats were the larger of the two opposition groups at that particular time. And we knew that Brian had served a long time then, almost coming up for 20 years before his mayoralship. And I know Dad and myself and one or two other Labour councillors went against the leadership at the time and forced a vote and got it through that it should be that we would support the Conservative nomination for the mayor rather than the Liberal Democrat nomination. And that's how Brian became mayor. And I know Brian was always grateful to those in the Labour group who supported him to take up his mayoral year. A wonderful man. It's sad and criminal that he should not have been able to enjoy his retirement in many ways, not just from work, but also from this place. And he will be sadly missed. And as everyone said, it will be a great tribute to him that his name will go up somewhere on the back as the alderman of this borough, as a great recognition for the services he has done for the borough of Swindon and for the borough of Thamesden as it was before that. And I'm very happy to support this proposal today. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Cook.
I first met Brian when I stood for election in Rawton and Wichelstow. Brian was a mentor for me and for many others, past and present. His knowledge and advice about Rawton and Wichelstow was invaluable. When we were out canvassing, he spoke about his love of wine, golf, and was surprised to learn I didn't have the same taste. But one thing we did agree on was our love of Spain. Brian, you were a perfect gentleman and highly respected by both officers and councillors. You served the residents of Rawton and Wichelstow well, and you will be a hard act to follow. Brian, you deserve this honour, honorary alderman of the borough. How proud your family must be of this great achievement. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else, member of the public, or... Oh, just carry on.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I think this is an excellent thing to do for Brian. I know Brian from about the age of 16 onwards, a long, long time ago, 40-odd years. Stella, obviously I got to know Stella and his kids as well. Brian, over the years, was a very close friend who did a tremendous amount for me personally and even more for the village. He was a person that always had time for others. I'm sorry, I'm quite sad about this. I just think it's a wonderful thing to do, and thank you ever so much to everybody for doing it. He was a great guy. Thank you.
Anybody else? Would any member of the family like to say anything? You don't have to? No, that's fine. Oh, yes, Kathy. Yes. Do you want to come forward and get a microphone?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Brian took his duties and responsibilities as a ward councillor very seriously, to the extent even of not voting with the party when it came to development. He would listen and act on residents' concerns, and he would demand answers and action. He took his cabinet member duties equally seriously. As far as he was concerned, the councillors make the policy, which meant the buck stopped with him as cabinet member. So as cabinet member for adults, he decided to lead by example. He lost weight, and he made sure he did at least 10,000 steps a day, often whilst playing golf and walking around Rawton, using that time to say hello to people he met en route, dealing with anything which needed attention. He made himself accessible to the people he represented. He also knew that the best way to represent residents was to work collaboratively with people as part of a team. As ward councillor, he worked with me, Dave, Dad, Wayne Crabb, Bill Morton, and many others throughout his 38 years, and working hard together to represent residents. As a cabinet member, he held immense respect for officers in his portfolio. He met with them regularly to understand his responsibilities and to monitor the council's performance, including through COVID. And he also had great respect for and a good working relationship with his shadow cabinet member. So I'm very pleased that Brian's 38 years of public service to Rawton and Wichelstow, Chiseldon and other areas prior to the various boundary changes, to the council and to Swindon as a whole are being recognised and acknowledged. Thank you.
Any further speakers? Yes, do you want to come forward and use the microphone?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for the opportunity to speak. So I first met Brian, I think it must be over 15 years ago, when my father-in-law Eric first joined the local Conservative Association. And I then got to know Brian more when Cathy was elected, and then we worked even more closely together in the 3 years when I was also a councillor. Much has already been said about Brian, but I just wanted to share a few of my own thoughts. Brian was a dedicated local councillor who worked hard on behalf of everyone in the community, regardless of their political leanings. His work ethic and commitment to Rawton remained undimmed until the end of his term. I used to look at the members' online stats of how many requests were raised by councillors, and Brian was always right up there at the top of the table, qualifying for his place in the Champions League. Now, over the time I knew him, I quickly found out what was important to Brian, and this is in no particular order. But wine was certainly right up there, although he did also enjoy a beer or three as well. Golf. Now, I got used to Brian's working patterns. You would receive emails from Brian before 8 o'clock in the morning, and then things would go a bit quiet until about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when there would be more, unless it was raining. And of course, he was enjoying time on the golf course. He very much enjoyed travelling. He was a real advocate for his electric car. And protocol. It was very important to Brian that things were done in the right way. Punctuality was also something that was very important to Brian, and this could be a particular challenge when others took a more relaxed approach to timekeeping. And last but very not least, family. Family was very important to Brian, and Thursday nights in particular were family time. Now, I last saw Brian just over 12 months ago when the clerk and chair of Rawton Parish Council arranged a small get-together to say thank you for everything that he had done for the village over the last 38 years. We had planned to meet up for a drink after he came back from his holiday, but sadly that opportunity didn't arise. Now, I miss Brian, and I think that today's recognition is a fitting tribute to a man who gave over half of his life to the service of residents of Rawton and Swindon. Thank you.
Any further speakers? Yes?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We've met before, haven't we? Congratulations on becoming Mayor. We've been, when I say we, my wife and family, came here about 20 years ago. And we actually lived in Chiseldon for the better part of that time. But then Chiseldon was linked with Rawton in terms of councillors. And it's to Brian that I owe my entry into becoming a councillor here. And also, he was, in a sense, my mentor, if I can put it that way. I'm certain Stella must have been fed up from time to time when I used to knock on the door, either morning or evening, hoping to find Brian because I needed some advice. He was intensely proud of being a councillor, particularly for Rawton, but also for the social side. And that was evident in everything he said or did. And he carried through his beliefs, whether he won a particular battle or whether he just had to keep going. When I left, well, I didn't leave. I was out of being a councillor for 2 years. And when I became, again, a councillor in Chiseldon, it was linked with Lawn, so I saw less of Brian, but still was with him very much in spirit when we had our meetings. I miss Brian. I used to see him now and again when he was round to about 9,000 steps in the early mornings in Rawton. I think it's an absolute prize for him. He would have loved to have been around and recognised. But I think to become an honorary alderman and whatever else comes his way, so to speak, he will be very proud, or he would be proud, and I still miss him, and will do so for the time to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further speakers? It's lovely to hear about Brian. No? You do want to say something? Oh, bless you. Come and have a sit down.
It's on. Oh, sorry. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone for bestowing this honour on Brian. Sorry.
Just really, you know, Dad did absolutely love being part of this council, and I think it was, you know, it was so important to him. It made up such a big part of his life. So, just really thank you so much for this. This is just a very lovely honour. Thank you.
I just want to say sorry that the other members of the family are not with us. They would have been so proud, but they were unfortunately clashed with the date of their holiday, which was much needed. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your lovely tributes about Brian, everybody. And yeah, I just spent many a happy council meeting with him, and he is surely missed, and it's lovely to hear. And I didn't even know we liked wine that much, but we had that in common too. So in accordance with the recommendation, I put to the vote that the council resolves to confer the title of Honorary Alderman on Brian Ford. All those in favour, please show. I declare that vote carried. So now I'm going to leave the dais and we're going to present the alderman thing to Stella, his wife. So bear with us all a minute, everybody.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I can confirm that there have been no standing order 15 questions.